Hey, so good afternoon, everyone. So as promised, I'll be reviewing the paper of Carlo Magno. The title of the article that is available in my blog is Facilitating Student Learning in Schools Through a Learning Management System and Action Research. So this is available in my blog, but the link was taken from ResearchGate. It's an open access, that's why we were able to get the link. So basically, the paper investigated on the students, both private and public schools, students' performance or achievement in the following learning areas: English, math, uh, science, and Filipino. And of course, with the use of LMS. LMS is language no, learning management system. Learning management system is a computer mediated program available via internet. So specifically, Quipper videos were used for the intervention. So basically, what I like in what I really find interesting in the Magno is whenever he conducts studies, his method would really be precise, no, in terms of what design he used, the procedure, uh, ma- uh, fas- uh, materials, and as well the statistics. He is very precise, and of course the storyline is very clear. So basically, uh, what the reason why I chose this article to be reviewed in this blog is that number one, it's experimental design. So last semester, I had students who who ambitiously ventured into experimental design. So for those of you who would want to do experimental design, I highly recommend Magno's paper because of the precision in terms of the design he used, as well the statistics. Now, so in terms of sample, quite substantial. There are 200 to no 2,240 public students, and there are 2,240 private students taken from different schools in Luzon. Now, the sampling procedure wasn't really mentioned. It was not mentioned. And well, in terms of the effect size, I think it's quite strong because there are a substantial number of samples. Now, so basically, in his review, he included non-cognitive skills. So that's the very question that I asked. So why include non-cognitive skills in his review? It's because it's not only he was not only measuring the students' achievements in English, math, science, and Filipino. He was also trying to measure students' self-regulation, motivation, and engagement. So for the first two non-cognitive skills, these are affective skills. I am quite familiar with those variables. Even with his paper, in his previous paper, he would really looked into self-regulation, self-efficacy. All these are non-cognitive variables or affective variables that may contribute to students' processing of different cognitive skills. But in this case, he somehow mixed the variables. He included performance-based variables and as well included an intervention. The intervention, uh, the teaching of the skills through learning management system is with the use of computer-mediated uh, instruction via internet. So this is available. Quipper videos are available online. So you just have to register, and you can, I think, avail of the services online. And so, looking at the theorizing, right, so for the review of literature, it was quite robust. So, basically, it was based on the theory. Okay, so the effect of Kuiper videos as a form of LMS or learning management system is anchored on Mayer's 2014 model of cognitive affective multimedia learning, where features of the online lessons mentally scaffolds learners' thinking and processing, meaning to say that these Kuiper videos would have a beneficial effect on students' processing of cognitive skills. And that really is the main theory that this study is anchored on. So we will really have to test whether this is true or not in this study. Right. So in terms, as I said a while ago, Magno has really, he has precise methodology. Okay. Now, in terms of the material, instruments, validation was mentioned. Okay. So you'd see that, so there were reviews of learning management system, self-regulate. All right. So what is new to me is the engagement. Motivation is familiar, but the engagement. Most of us teachers are using the word engage, engage. Students are engaged in something. But then there's really a construct for this that can be measured out of a scale. So this is a variable in research. Engagement is a variable in research. So let us be careful on how we use the word engage, because there is a framework for engagement. Okay. So in fact, engagement is based on, actually this is part of motivational variables, no? In LMS. Accordingly, engagement is a cognitive process, active participation, and emotional involvement in learning procedure. That's according to Pelas, 2014, cited by Magno in this paper. So, well-defined, engagement is well-defined, and as well, in terms of the method used, it's very clear what instrument was used. Later on, I'll be mentioning that. So, of course, what I also find really very appropriate Magno would always phrase out this research question. For example, number one, is there a significant improvement in the self-regulation, motivation, engagement, and test scores after studying through LMS? Then is there a significant difference between the groups who use LMS and without LMS on their self-regulation, motivation, engagement, and test scores? So these are the two research questions that when you phrase out these questions, all findings, presentation of findings, interpretation of results will be based on these two. Here in this research question, you would notice that we are looking for the effect of LMS in the students' performance in English, math, science, Filipino, and as well their non-cognitive performance in non-cognitive skills, or their level of self-regulation, motivation, and engagement. Okay, so now, in terms of the research design, Magno did not use experimental design. He did not, but he only mentioned pre- and post-test design is implemented. So when you say pre- and post-test design, that's understandable, and with the intervention, that is already experimental design. As to how many days, weeks, I don't see, as of the moment, I don't see any mention of how many days. But there's, I think, a module for the Kuiper videos that you need to find out. If you'll be doing a study on this, we need to find out what would be the order, the sequence. My mentor would say we need to be clear with the sequence of the intervention or the test given. Okay, so that's Kuiper videos. And then, okay, so we have the participants, as I said, so almost 5,000 participants, right? Okay, so here there's a scale used. So achievement tests were validated. So the pre-test is exactly the post-test. Okay, the achievement test used in pre-test was exactly the tests for the post-test use, no? Okay, and then for the self-regulation, ASRLS, no? Or academic self-regulated learning scale was used. And then, and of course, motivation scale by Ali and McInerney, 2005. And then the UTREX, this is something new. If I'd be doing a study, I'd be using UTREX engagement scale because this is something new. So the engagement scale. And so the findings revealed that, if you look at the all right, so for the statistics, Magno is known for his advanced statistics. So he is using multivariate analysis of variance. Multivariate analysis of variance, mixed design, and then it was also mentioned he was using repeated measure. No? Because remember, problem 2 is looking at the difference in different variables. No? Difference in terms of the pre-test, post-test, and then in terms of the content learning areas, English, math, science, Filipino, and the non-cognitive skills as well, the self-regulation, motivation. So there are several components. That's why we are making use of multivariate analysis. But if we will be using SPSS, this is not that complicated. This is what I like in the study of Magno, because I understand the process. Whenever I read this paper, I already somehow think in advance that I can do this, because multivariate analysis is not that difficult when you have SPSS. Okay. Now, the point is, now, here's the question. If he used to compare groups, right? How comparable were the groups compared? So in experimental study, you need to be clear whether the groups are really exactly the same. So in terms of socioeconomic status, in terms of age, in terms of proficiency. But then, I think the groups were separated, right? So public and private. So if you look at the groups, I think he separated the groups. There was this isolation of the groups. So there's findings for the private, public, private, public group. But then I think there was no comparison between private and public. So there's no question about socioeconomic status, only on the difference between pre-test and post-test. So that is quite clear to me. But maybe that's the reason why Magno deviate from the use of the word experimental design, because we wouldn't want maybe to explain what type, whether it's a quasi, whether the samples are comparable. I think it's already understood that samples are comparable. All right, so basically the findings showed that in terms of non-cognitive skills, in the group with LMS or learning management system, there's an increase of this self-regulation skill, non-cognitive skills, increase in the level of self-regulation, motivation, and engagement. But it was quite interesting to note that there's as well increase in the non-cognitive skills in terms of self-regulation, engagement, and motivation in the groups without learning management system. So that's the very question. So what then would be the implication of that? So if there is increase of LMS, increased non-cognitive skill in terms of level for the group without LMS, so would it mean that, does it suggest that you did not have LMS to have this non-cognitive skills be improved among students? But then still, it is clear that LMS would somehow boost their self-regulation, right? Self-regulation, motivation, and engagement. But what is very clear would be, with the use of LMS or learning management system, with the use of the computer-mediated program or the Quipper videos, very clear that there was an improved performance of the students in the group with LMS, increased performance in English, mathematics, science, and English. So conclusion would be, I would say that this paper would really be interesting. No? This is a current study which used very appropriate research design to somehow support findings on the effect of beneficial effect of LMS. In fact, is actually supporting the theory of Mayer, no? That there is a beneficial effect. The theory of Mayer's 2014, Mayer's model of cognitive affective multimedia learning, where it was proven that, in fact, there is a beneficial effect of LMS or Quipper videos on students' performance, academic performance, or cognitive skills. Now, what then is the implication of this with what we are doing here? So remember, we are now advocating the use of technology. We're advocating the use of multimedia. In fact, Mayer's theory is multimedia. So what we are trying to do is to provide viewers with readings, links that can improve their skills in reading and as well writing, and as well doing research. So basically, it is really beneficial for students who are using multimedia to process readings that can develop their cognitive skills, and also the non-cognitive skills like self-regulation. So students, hopefully, who would be visiting this blog would be engaged, no? Would be motivated to read, and as well motivated to write their research. So that's why this blog is a multimedia format that can help students boost their self-regulation, to be focused in their research, in their reading, and in their writing, and as well try to improve their cognitive skills, right? So now, if you have any suggestions for any readings that you would want me to review, just please comment here in this blog for whatever articles you would wish me to review and provide links. Now, for this complete readings, this is actually Magno's paper is found here in my blog. The link is just found after this video. So when you click this video, you can immediately find Magno's paper. All right? So the link to Magno's paper in the research gate. So I hope that you learned something from this video, and hopefully you would be able to give me your feedback, whether whatever articles you would want me to review, or articles that you want me to search online. Then perhaps you want me to know, you want me to review the articles for you. Just do let me know, right? Do not forget to comment whatever you think of this research paper, right? So thank you very much, and see you later. Bye.